Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to RCH Builders. Here we are again at this house down here, trying to hopefully give you a video of this house every other Wednesday. But I know in the load bearing video I had mentioned about that door. You can see where there used to be a door right there from the inside. So like I say, it's not quite centered of these steps, but it is closer than this one over here. So if you look up this handrail, you see that's way over there to the side. And if you look up the handrail right here, it's about halfway of that door. So it would be closer to centered. If we did move that door, like I mentioned on that load bearing one, we could always still, if we tore out that other wall, we could still put that door right in the middle. But either way, even with it being there, we still got plenty of space over there, and you would have lots of space to this side where you could set up some tables and chairs and all that. In our last demolition video, of course, they were starting to tear up this kitchen flooring. They have gotten most of it torn up. We just need to haul out some more. They get to probably, looks like maybe another half, and then there's still one more layer of linoleum, old school linoleum, that they're going to that'll have to come out, and then we may have to do that. But so the kitchen, you can see, is kind of half done. Of course we still have the bathroom. We never got in there, and then we also have the rest of this bedroom, which that is part of where, you know, we're actually fully gutting this whole house. If you remember from the first video, and probably also from the second one where you saw in it, this room looked like it was the best room in the house. It had new sheetrock on the walls, painted. The floor was carpet that looked pretty good. The ceiling only had a little bit of water damage right at the chimney location. And that's all it had. Or at least that's what it looked like. So, but as again, you would never have known what was underneath until you tore all that off. And then you see all those trails from those fisher bugs where they were just eating the paper and running up through there. And like I said in the video, of course, they loved the exterior walls because they could get to water. The one wall that they went to a bunch, which was this one here, they went a good bit on that wall. Part of that, I would say, is because that wall right there is where the bathroom was. You had the shower and everything, and more than likely there's been some leaks due to that. So we're gonna try to finish tearing out this room and probably tear out a decent bit of the kitchen. And then, I don't know, we'll see about the bathroom. I doubt we'll get to that again, but we should only have probably 2 more days of tear out, and then we can actually start getting to some of the more fun stuff, like repairing the drop beams that are underneath that need to be fixed to take care of the structural issues. And then we'll go from there. I have, so far with all the houses that I have bought, I have only fixed the structural issues in them and then sold them to another investor who had more time. Of course, I am an actual contractor who has jobs that I have to do for different people. Eventually one day I'd like this to be all I'm doing, but for now this is all I can do, is just kind of do it a little bit on the side. Maybe this YouTube channel will help get me views and subscribers, so that it can help get me to the point of being able to do just this quicker. We've got a new series coming out soon where we are doing a addition. It is a 4-season room addition for a customer. And when we start that, we're probably going to start that next Wednesday. It'll be a multiple series. As far as, it won't show every single step, probably simply because we won't have time for that. Because it is a job we're doing for a customer. We'll have to kind of go through it a little bit quicker, as opposed to not being able to move the camera around quite as much. But we should get most of it on video, and hopefully that'll give y'all some other things to see. Some nice actual building framing. We're building with some massive wood 6x6 timbers. We got some big old trusses in there, a whole roof line, hip roof and all that. So there's lots of the different funky cuts and actual real craftsmanship that is going to be going into that one. So hopefully you'll enjoy watching that when that series starts. And I'm not sure exactly how quickly we'll do that. Again, my goal with this one is that we try and give you one video every other week. That one might, for now, take up the other, or I might end up kind of doing that one on a monthly basis, possibly, so that then I can still give you some how-to tutorials and stuff like that throughout the month as well. So then maybe we do one video from there, and then one video of a how-to type deal, or information style video. And so even though that job will be done probably well before then, it'll stretch that one out simply so I can still give you the content of how to and things to look out for. So we'll be starting to upload that soon, but for now we're going to go ahead and start doing some tear out on this job, get the camera set up, and hope y'all enjoy watching. Alright, so that is almost 2 walls down, other than that little corner right there you couldn't see yet. So we're going to get that on the next shot. And the closet is torn out. We still got to tear the framing down, which I am still pretty sure that I'm going to do again for that layout that we discussed in the load bearing video. But we'll see. But we've got that. Kitchen progress at this point in time. Looks like they pretty much got the layers up. They still got to clean up in here. Been using my room as primary because that's what y'all get to see the most. So when I get to the cleanup stage, they pretty much kind of stop and come in there and help me clean up. So next they'll probably come in here and start cleaning up while I continue to do some more tear out. But as you can see, they've done busted through the wall. You can see into that bedroom that I'm working on there. So about to drink of water so we stay hydrated. And then as soon as we finish drinking water, we'll get back to tearing out some more of this bedroom here. right, so we got all the walls torn off now. Now we just gotta tear down the ceiling in this room, and then we're done with the tear out in here. So down here, all along this wall, you can see right there, just all that water damage, and there's a slight difference. A lot of people will confuse it with bugs and rodent or damage, where like termites or something. But if you do this enough, you can tell the difference. It's a slight difference. I don't think I could see that on camera, but maybe you can kind of see the difference. Usually is whether or not you can see a little bit of. You can actually see trails and dust, like this over here. This is bugs. So you see all those trails right there and how that dust and kind of dirt is inside there. That is actually from bugs eating that wood, which is over here along this bathroom wall. But here, again, right here, you can see where there's actual trails and there's a lot of dust. But over in this other spot over here, that's primarily from water. So there have been bugs all around here, but there is actually a decent bit of water and bug damage to these walls, which we never would have known if we didn't rip off that sheetrock. So things that are deceiving from the outside even, and from the inside of the room looked nice and sturdy, felt sturdy. What kind of creates an issue with that, so somebody at one point, if you look at the floor, this is like newer plywood right here, versus you can see where they put down hardwood flooring in the hallway, and in this bedroom over here, where it drops down again, that's the original hardwood flooring right there in this house. And at that same level right here, they have actual plywood. So somebody at some point replaced the flooring in here. That's why they basically remodeled this entire room. More than likely, my guess, because it happens a lot of times, especially with the larger companies, they will address the surface issues without tearing off and actually looking in and seeing all the actual main issues inside of the walls. So most of this, especially like that right there, is extremely dry. I would say that is from a long time ago, but an issue that was never fully fixed, which still invited in the bugs and everything else. So we will probably have to replace all that bottom plate and possibly a few of the studs here and there where they have been damaged. Most of them are actually still pretty well okay. The reason why you don't see it from the outside or from the inside is because you see where all these 1x6 slats are going at an angle. They're creating triangulation. So this wall is getting strength through triangulation, which you can do with 1x's, which is the way they did it back in the day. But now they'll use plywood. So you're spanning a triangulation pretty much from stud to stud through a 4-foot by 8-foot sheet, which then ties, say, that corner right there all the way up to a corner on this location over here, and triangulates it all, basically stiffens it up. In some of these new subdivision homes, they do not put any of that on, which is really why when there is any issues, you notice it right away. So basically, you can almost, in some of these houses, as long as you do it carefully and slowly and then replace it fairly quickly, you can even rip out the beam that's underneath that entire wall without having the wall fall, or at least not having it fall majorly. And the reason why is because that wall is being held almost in an exact position by those 1x's through triangulation. So my guys have decided that they're going to go on strike if I don't let them eat lunch. I think actually when I took a pause and started doing this, it sounds like they just left. I think they probably could go grab themselves a bite to eat. Or maybe I took too long and they went ahead and went on strike. Just kidding, but I know they'll be back. But you can see in the kitchen, they have now been working on tearing up the last layer of flooring aside from the original. And the original flooring, my guess, because that's the way they did it in these old mill houses, probably is the only layer between here and the crawl space. It may not be. There might be another layer underneath there. But you can see that right there. You can see where there's water damage. That's what I was referring to in the kitchens. A lot of times they'd have that water damage. And that is where they would just add another floor on top. Add another floor on top. Which doesn't really solve the issue, again, like I was referring to. But sometimes things like that were done by a company who just didn't want to deal with the hassle. And again, you know, they just want to come in, slap it together real fast, get their money, and get out. But other times it can be done, like a lot of times, like kitchen floors with the stacked flooring like this, 9 times out of 10, that was actually done just by a homeowner on their own. And it was simply because they just didn't have the money to go through paying someone to come in and do it professionally. And again, like I say, it doesn't fix the issue, but by adding a stiff layer on top of the rotted layer, it does create a kind of a, it just creates kind of the same thing as far as the walls, a slight triangulation there, which does help make it feel like you have not, you're not going to have an issue anymore. Which, with that triangulation, it can make it last a lot longer, but you do have to be careful because you do that too many times and the issue's still there. Eventually the joist that is underneath actually rots out and then the whole floor falls because you've got layer after layer after layer that have all been just stacked on top of each other. And that, of course, just creates a lot of weight on a joist that is slowly being rotted out by that, all that moisture that possibly never actually fully got fixed. So I'm going to go ahead and eat lunch myself, and we'll be back with you in a little bit and tear down this ceiling in here. Alright everyone, now that we're finished in this room, got the ceiling down, got the walls done, got everything all cleaned up, we're about to call it a day, I guess. The trailer's pretty much full. You see where they're at in the kitchen. They've pretty much got all of that last layer of flooring up, except, I don't know, we may still end up tearing up that one and putting down new, complete new subflooring. We probably will, just because of the damage. Where the old porch was, you can see where they've kind of put a floor on top of a floor again, and reframed where the porch dropped at one point. It may have been built that way originally. So there's still a little bit of tear out here in the kitchen. They got that wall, they got that whole little pantry, and a little bit left on that wall in between those two rooms there. Around here we got this main wall where the they would have had like the kitchen sink and everything, that whole wall to tear down. Not a whole lot there still, and of course we got the ceiling in there too as well. And then we got the wonderful bathroom that everybody wants to avoid. My guys really aren't wanting to have to take up that toilet and tub, but eventually it'll happen. Probably the next time we come down, we'll go ahead and get that. But for now, I enjoyed watching. Hope you will continue to watch, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Like, subscribe, And if there's any comments you'd like to leave, maybe some questions that you'd like to ask a contractor, see if get an answer from someone who might be able to answer your questions for one, go ahead and leave them down in the comment section, and we'll see you the next time. Alright, now that I've aggravated my wife real bad by leaving this little bit right here, let's go ahead and clean it up too. She's not here, but I know when she watches the video, that's gonna bug her. So, just as a little joke.